Hey guys, I am doing my Overwatch 2 PvP developer update that went out today on May 20th. And so if you don't know me, I'm Coach Thumper. I'm the head coach for the University of Oklahoma Overwatch program and only business T2, T2, T3 team, and I've helped out with other T2 and T3 programs. And I just want to do my opinion. Now, before we get too far into this, I'm just going to go ahead and state my opinion. So if you don't feel like listening to the rest of it or don't want to argue, you just want your opinion to be done with. I actually think it could be a good change, the 5v5 in particular, but reducing of CC, reduce of vault charge, things like that too. I actually think it could be a good change. I don't think it is inherently a good change. I don't think it's inherently a bad change. I think it still has to be done well, but I think it actually could be a good change. So before I get into the three kind of like whys I think it would be a good change, I do want to say right off the bat, I do feel for the T1, T2, T3 players that spent years of their lives dedicating themselves to off tank and dedicating themselves to learning the game. It is shitty. I'm not trying to downplay that. It is not cool that Blizzard blindsided everybody, including their pro players, the players that have put their lives toward pushing this game to its limit, and have completely marginalized, took no opinion, doesn't care, doesn't seem to care, everything. I'm not trying to marginalize that at all. I do think that's not, I mean, it's just terrible, honestly. With that being said, from an objective standpoint, from the game perspective, I am going to say it could be a good change, but I'm not trying to downplay that situation at all. So I have three main reasons why it could be a good change. And the first one is probably the one that's going to upset some of the pro players or some of the players that consider themselves gunning for pro, the competitive, the organized players, T1, T2, T3, people that are gunning for T3, is that these changes are really good for the casual player. And changes that are good for the casual player are going to be good for us. And the reason that they're going to be good for us is no game, no sport, whether it's esports, basketball, football, soccer, chess, board games, whatever, none of them can exist. No competitive entity, no esport can exist within a video game unless the video game has the fan base and the player base to support that pro scene. We are dangerously close to not having the fan base to support the pro scene, in my opinion. We're losing player bases. We're losing everything. It's got to take a change. And this change is good for competitive, for casual. It simplifies the game a little bit. It makes individual impact in the game higher, which means you'll have more fun while you're doing things because it feels like you're doing things more often. And if you're a casual player that just wants to get on every weekend and be a silver or gold player, you can do that and still have fun without finding out, oh, there's this super new meta. I'm a McCree main. There's super new meta with like 3-4 shields on the other team. Oh no, I can't do anything. I have to learn a whole new hero. Oh, the meta changed to get all this stuff, right? You can do that with a reduction of only one tank that is able to deny and hold space. So any change for the casual is a good change for the pros, because it keeps our player base, it keeps our fan base, it supports us. And I think overlooking it, disassociating ourselves as 4K plus players, T1, T2, T3, from the gold silvers, from the players that are down trying to get where we are, or even just casual players that enjoy watching the game, watching the game played at a high level, disassociating that's fairly irresponsible. So that's reason number one. The second reason is simplification does not mean easier. In this case, it actually could be solution to diversity. We've always lamented that we're a meta-based game. Every patch has this super dominant meta. Well, what are the dominant metas based off of? Well, we have Dive, original Season 7 Dive or something like that, or even if you want to go back to Season 3 with a triple tank, that's based off tanks. Dive, Winston Diva, based off tanks. Double Bubble Now, based off tanks. Double Shield, based off tanks. Rundown, based off tanks. Briefly Orisa Hog thingy, based off tanks. Ball metas, based off tanks. Oh, every meta is based off tanks. But specifically the ability of one tank to support the other one to create, deny, and maintain value in space. Well, when you only have one tank and you simplify that, now you're distributing the value across the other roles as well. And hopefully if they do it properly, and they have to do it properly, but if they do it properly, the one tank still gets the same value, still feels like it has a good amount of value for the tank line, without having the entire meta, the entire style of the game based off of the one tank. So now we have DPS and supports that are active in the macro of the game. They're active in the play styles that can be played in the game, and you can create diversity out of this. You can play, um, you can play three different kinds of dives between Winston, Diva, and Wrecking Ball dives. You can play three or four different kinds of rushdown between Winston, Zarya, Orisa, Reinhardt. You can play multiple different kinds of everything and have diversity within the tank line of a style which we have never had before. And that diversity makes up for the oversimplification of only having one tank and the cooldown cycling and the alt cycling and everything else that it does simplify. That diversity will make up for the simplification if they do it properly, in my opinion. And the third reason is it makes the game more watchable. It makes the game more understandable, and therefore it makes the game worthy of improving upon. If we have the fan base clamoring to watch, and we have more people on Twitch watching streamers, if we have more people on Overwatch League watching that, Collegiate Cup, contenders, grassroots leagues, if we have all that going on, more people watching, more people getting involved, and it's understandable and it's more watchable, then the game is improvable. Because we have more resources, more people coming in, clamoring for more things from Blizzard. We have more fans coming in. We have more people trying to climb the ladder. We have less people retiring than we have people moving up into 4.4, 4.5, 4.6. This is a good thing for the game. Diversity over exclusion. Inclusion of casuals that turn from casuals into professionals. This is all very good for the game. And so those are my three reasons why, if they do it properly, this is likely a good change. And I do want to reemphasize at the end, I do feel for the T1, T2, T3 players, and even the Diamond players to spend 1,000 hours on Diva, or the even the Silver players to spend 1,000 hours on Zarya or whatever, with absolutely no warning, especially the T1 and T2 players, with absolutely no warning with their livelihood, that their roles basically being deleted. I absolutely feel for that. But from an objective standpoint, if we're just looking at the game of Overwatch, I think this could be a good change.